This evening, Mashramani makes triumphant return after a 2-year hiatus. 18-year-old woman charged with murdering her reputed husband. 2 drug smugglers busted amid joint operation by GRA and CANU in the region. US says new border laws have decreased illegal crossings. And internationally, UN tells Russia to leave Ukraine. How did countries vote? Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Mashramani, the annual celebration of Ghana's rich cultural heritage and diversity, made a grand return on Thursday, February 23rd, after a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The festivities kicked off with a grand parade in the Garden City of Georgetown, where participants dressed in traditional costumes representing the country's diversity. As the parade moved through the streets, spectators were treated to a dazzling display of colors and sounds, with participants dancing and singing to the beats of drums, steel pan music, and the lively rhythm of the tassi drums. The Mashramani float parade, where floats decorated with elaborate themes and colorful designs, moved through the streets, accompanied by various dancers and melodious musicians. The event culminated with a grand finale at the National Park in Georgetown, where local and international artists performed for thousands of people. Mashramani, which means celebration after hard work, is a significant national holiday in Guyana, and it represents the country's progress as a nation. The festival showcases the talent and creativity of the Guyanese people and is a testament to our vibrancy and ingenuity. Mashramani 2023 was celebrated under the theme Mixing and Mashing as One Guyana to emphasize the country's unity and diversity. Also making the headlines, 18-year-old Rahona Moses was charged with the murder of her 27-year-old reputed husband Anthony Shivlal when she appeared at the Saudi Magistrates Court on Wednesday, February 22nd. Moses was not required to plead to the indictable charge when she appeared before Magistrate Crystal Lambert and was remanded to prison until March 28, 2023. The court heard that Moses reportedly stabbed Anthony Shivlal to death around 2 a.m. on Sunday, February 19th, at Magnab Lima Sands Essequibo. The incident took place after an argument between the couple at a birthday party at the home of Moses' 62-year-old grandmother, Bernadine Williams. After the argument, the woman reportedly left the party and returned to her grandmother's home asking for her husband. Moses' grandmother said she heard a commotion. Upon investigating, she saw Shivlal lying on the ground and her granddaughter over him, repeatedly stabbing him in the chest with a knife. Police later arrested Moses at her mother's home in Macnab. In other news, in a joint operation, officers from the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit intercepted 2 suspected drug smugglers in separate incidents on February 22nd and 23rd, 2023. On February 23rd, GRA and CANU officers were performing their duties at the Chedichagan International Airport when they intercepted a male incoming passenger. The subsequent search of the individual led to the discovery of 12 rolled joints suspected to be cannabis. The suspect, identified as 30-year-old Delroy Julius Seaforth of New Jersey, United States of America, was arrested and escorted to CANU's headquarters along with the suspected narcotics. The substance later tested positive for cannabis, and investigations into the matter are ongoing. The day before, on February 22nd, CANU officers intercepted a male at the Guyana Post Office Corporation attempting to post a box containing several items. A search of the box in the presence of the suspect led to the discovery of a whitish substance suspected to be cocaine. The individual, identified as 33-year-old Michael Emmanuel Idu, a Nigerian national of Golden Grove, East Bank Demerara, was arrested and escorted to the CANU's headquarters along with the suspected narcotics. The substance was tested positive and weighed over 1 pound and had a street value of approximately $400,000. Further investigations into the matter resulted in the arrest of a northern Nigerian national, Gift Obayoha, 26 years old, of Lane Avenue, Georgetown. The seizure of the drugs and arrest of these individuals are part of the ongoing efforts by the law enforcement agencies to combat drug trafficking and reduce the prevalence of drug abuse in the country. Stick around when we return. Guyanese pilot makes a history as first officer on JetBlue flight to Georgetown, and Demerara Harbour Bridge to close for 24 hours for emergency repair works.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. Guyanese pilot Hassan Peters made history on Thursday evening when he landed at the Chanichagan International Airport in Georgetown as first officer on JetBlue flight from JFK International Airport. It was Peters' first flight home as part of the crew on a major carrier and a dream come true for the young boy who grew up in Princess Street Lodge, Georgetown. With a passion for flying, Peters was fondly nicknamed Pilot from a young age because of his ambition to become a pilot. He attended Dolphin Government School and the Bishop's High School after writing the Common Entrance exam. Before migrating to the US in 2009, Peters served as a pilot in the Ghana Defense Force. After years of hard work and dedication, Peters finally achieved his childhood dream. He now resides in the United States with his wife and 2 daughters. His journey came full circle on Thursday when he landed in his home country as part of the crew of a major airline. Chanichagan International Airport officials were present to welcome Captain Peters back home and presented him with tokens of appreciation for his service to Guyana. Peters' achievement inspires all young people in Guyana who dreams of pursuing a career in aviation. If you have any plans to cross the Demerara River this weekend, the Demerara Harbor Bridge Corporation has issued an urgent public notice to inform members of the public that the Demerara Harbor Bridge will be closed for 24 hours to facilitate emergency repair works to span 8. The closure will occur on Sunday, February 26th at 3 a.m. to Monday, February 27 at 3 a.m. The emergency repair works have become critical after an oil tanker crashed into the bridge in October last year, rendering it inoperable for several days. The management of the Demerara Harbor Bridge Corporation has assured citizens that this inconvenience is necessary to ensure the bridge's structural integrity for the safety of everyone crossing. Consequently, the Demerara water taxi service will remain operational for the period of 24 hours from 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, February 25th to February 26th to facilitate the transport of commuters. Commuters are assured of the uninterrupted water taxi service from Breeding Hook to Stabroek during this period. The fare for the water taxi service remains at $100. Commuters are reminded to wear life vests when traveling on the water safely. Additionally, the Demerara Harbor Bridge will be closed from 8:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. this evening for 45 minutes to facilitate the fuel vessel. Don't go away after the break. UN tells Russia to leave Ukraine. How did countries vote? And sanctions on Russia threatens Bangladesh's first nuclear power plant.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The United States government says new measures imposed at its southern border in January have led to a dramatic decrease in the number of people asking for asylum in the country. It comes after a year in which concerns among Americans over illegal migration reached record levels. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
The United States has changed the rules for people from Haiti, Nicaragua and Cuba who enter the country illegally across its southern border and then ask for asylum. Before, they were allowed to stay while their request was processed. That meant they were exempt from Title 42 a public health order the US has been using to refuse entry to migrants. But no more. The US has done a deal with Mexico, ensuring they stay in that country while they wait. US authorities say it's worked to dissuade many from crossing illegally, a drop of 42% between December and January. Angel's an example. He's from Nicaragua and jumped the border fence to ask for asylum, thinking he'd be able to stay. But he was sent back to Mexico. Now he's in a shelter in Tijuana.
If it was still in Nicaragua and I had found out that the Title 42 was gone, I wouldn't have come.
That will please US authorities. President Biden's administration perhaps had to do something. In the last fiscal year, there were record numbers of apprehensions of migrants on the southern border, and they were under a lot of pressure, especially from Republicans, to get those numbers down. The new strategy has other elements too, rewards as well as penalties. One is a humanitarian parole program for applicants from Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua and Venezuela to stay in the US for 2 years as long as they have sponsors there. The US has pledged to take up to 30,000 people a month. A new app has also been rolled out for those already at the border, allowing them to book appointments with US officials rather than wait in queues or on lists controlled by non-governmental agencies. But those we talked to in the same shelter as Angel are having problems using the app, especially getting the confirmation email they say is needed for the appointment.
I lost my appointment on the 1st February because the confirmation email didn't arrive. All it says is system error, system error.
But Pastor Albert Rivera, who's in charge of the shelter, still thinks it's a good idea.
The idea just needs to be modified, certain things. Kidnapping is going to go down because people are entering into the app and they know there's a legal process that they're going to do it, so they're not going to hire coyotes and then end up being kidnapping. Human trafficking is going to go down because you have an access how to do it legally, and it's going to bring security for the lives of the immigrants and also for the border.
Angel from Nicaragua is now trying to use the app, waking up at 3 in the morning to try and book a spot. So far, he's had no luck. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Tijuana.
Internationally, Bangladesh's economy is being affected by the war in Ukraine in many ways. Western sanctions on Moscow are threatening the future of its first ever nuclear power plant backed by Russia. Al Jazeera's Tanvir Chowdhury reports.
In 2013, Bangladesh signed its biggest ever contract worth nearly $13 billion. Under the deal, Russia's state-run company Rosatom would build the country's first nuclear power plant. Moscow is providing 90% of the funding for the project. But Western sanctions against Russia imposed after its invasion of Ukraine are threatening to undermine the scheme. Some experts say they'll only have minimal impact.
The short-term repercussion will be there. And I don't think one can continue for longer period because countries will find a way to resolve that.
Money transferred to Russia from Bangladesh as payment for equipment for the project have also stalled. Last month, a US-sanctioned ship carrying equipment for the project was turned away after Bangladesh feared reprisal from the West. But not all the equipment comes from Russia.
Our machinery comes from Western Europe, so sanctions should not have any impact on that. Our works are progressing pretty well, and I think all the works will be finished on schedule.
Nearly 5,000 Russians and other expatriates are working on the scheme. Many restaurants, shops and small commercial establishments have sprouted up in this remote town in northeast Bangladesh. They're here to cater for the influx of thousands of Russians and other foreigners, as well as people from other parts of Bangladesh, working for the nuclear power project. The local economy and the community appears to be benefiting.
Russians, Ukrainians, Belarusians and others shop here and they all hang together and they get along well. They don't seem to have any problem.
The conflict in Ukraine seems to have very little impact here. Yuri Bodana is Ukrainian and says he has no problem working with the Russians.
I've been living here for 2 years and I do like it here. Yes, my family right now is safe in Ukraine.
People who live here don't speak about this conflict, don't don't mind about this conflict. I think people who live here doesn't matter what happening there.
Alexander is a Russian working at the nuclear plant and didn't want it to be identified. He thinks sanctions are having no impact.
I don't see any kind of problems connected with and related with some kind of Western sanctions, because war goes on.
Bangladesh government officials didn't respond to Al Jazeera's request for an interview. Moscow and Washington's rivalry may be posing a test for Dhaka's policy of neutrality, but here on the ground, the future of this project seems bright. Tanvir Chaudhary, Al Jazeera, Reputed, Bangladesh.
And finally, the United Nations General Assembly has voted overwhelmingly in favor of a resolution calling on Russia to withdraw from Ukraine. The US, Ukraine, and the EU had wanted a strong show of unity against Russia on the anniversary of the invasion, but some key nations abstained. Al Jazeera's Shahib Ratansi reports.
This non-binding resolution was based on a fundamental principle of the UN Charter. It is against international law for one member state to invade another. Ukraine and the EU wanted as many member states as possible to vote in favor of their draft, and knew from recent history that anything more strongly worded would lose support. And the strategy paid off, with 141 of the 193 members of the UN General Assembly voting in favor, 7 voting against, and 32 abstaining.
The message is clear. It doesn't matter what Russia tries and how it attempts to undermine international order and the coalition in support of Ukraine's territorial integrity, it fails.
These 141 countries reiterated a clear demand to Russia: withdraw. Withdraw immediately, completely, and unconditionally from Ukraine's internationally recognized territory.
As expected, several key non-aligned countries abstained, including China, South Africa, and India. They argued that a resolution that sought to contribute to a lasting peace in the region should focus on achieving a ceasefire, immediate peace talks, and addressing the geopolitical concerns that led to the conflict in the first place.
Boosting or even enlarging military blocs will only undermine regional security and drive peace further away. The final settlement of the Ukraine crisis hinges on abandoning the Cold War mentality and giving direction to and respecting the reasonable security concerns of all countries.
While we take note of the stated objectives of today's resolution, given its inherent limitations in reaching our desired goal of securing lasting peace, we are constrained to abstain.
And even though several non-aligned countries like Nigeria and Indonesia did vote for the resolution, they registered their reservations, criticizing it for not promoting peace talks and conflict resolution. Ukraine, the EU and the US can once again say that a majority of nations at the UN General Assembly has voted against the Russian invasion, even if finding unity on more punitive actions against Moscow has proved more elusive. Shihab Ratansi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. This concludes today's headline news update. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. with our next broadcast. For more news and updates, you can visit our Facebook and YouTube pages. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.